Hey everybody, Mr. DVB here. Welcome to the DVB Couchcast. This is the old podcast I used to do on this channel a year ago, kind of redone because the setup is different, arguably much worse. But it'll be a work in progress. This is the first episode. Next one will hopefully have a much better location and everything, but it's kind of a work in progress. But yeah, and the name is also subject to change. So if any of you guys can think of a better title, comment one down below. But today's episode, I am being joined by three very special people. We have...
Oh, I have to introduce myself?
Yeah.
Maya.
Alright, Maya giving her classic thumbs up. We have my boy Andrew.
What? Oh, he got the introduction.
Well, yeah, you can introduce yourself.
Andrew.
Andrew,
I know who I am.
I'm Aiden.
And we got Aiden. So today, we have a couple of topics we're going to be discussing. First one is going to be our thoughts. The main topic is going to be our thoughts on Andor, the new Disney Plus Star Wars series. We're going to be talking about episodes 1 through 4. Maya has not seen episode 4, so she will not be discussing that one, but it's alright.
She'll be caught up next time.
She'll be caught up next time.
Yes, sir.
And then we have our subtopics, but I'll really quickly mention what those are going to be. As you can tell, this is an amazing setup. We're going to talk about the Black Panther Wakanda Forever running time being confirmed. It's quite a long movie. And give our brief thoughts on the trailer. Yes, the trailer's a couple months old, but still want to give our quick thoughts. Deadpool 3 being revealed, we're going to talk about that. Our thoughts on the leaked Indiana Jones 5 trailer. Andrew, Maya, and I are going to give our thoughts on Barbarian and the movie Pearl. And then we're going to talk about the trailers for Bad Batch Season 2, Tales of the Jedi, and Mando Season 3. So it's going to be a loaded video. We'll see how long it runs. My guess is probably about 40-ish minutes.
Like that's ever going to happen.
But with that being said, let's talk about the first topic, which is going to be the Andor episodes 1 through 4. So I'll let you guys go first, but I'll just introduce it. So Andor, new Star Wars series. It is set before the events of Rogue One. I don't remember the exact...
It's like, it said 5 ABY, not ABY, BBY.
5 BB. Okay, so it's 5 years before... Andor then, and that's or 5 years before Rogue One in that case. And yeah, it follows Cassian Andor, who is obviously one of the main characters in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. I didn't find him that interesting of a character in that movie, but this show is about him, and even more so, I would say it's about the start of the rebellion. It's kind of about the forming of the rebellion, and
Everything seems so fresh, like rebellion-wise. You know?
Yeah, I mean? It's like they're very much so setting it up, because if you watch Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I think is set 5 years prior to Andor, the rebellion is just a concept. Like, they're just saying, like, yeah, we're thinking about making... Like, so, this is 5 years down the line. It's being built a little bit more, but it's still not quite there yet.
Yeah. I think this ties into, like, the Rebels, because I think the Rebels also followed the start of the rebellion.
Yeah.
From, like, 5 BBY to the start, I'm pretty sure. The whole of
you might need to speak up more when you talk about
the
audio.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. So it's kind of setting up the rebellion and stuff, which I like to see. And so far, we're 4 episodes in. I'll let you guys give your thoughts first. So we'll start with you. We'll start with Andrew.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Oh, shoot.
So Andrew, what were your?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, can someone else go first?
Okay, we'll let Maya's a newbie to Star Wars.
Yeah, literally brand new.
She literally
We
just
forced her to watch episode 2 and episode 3.
I watched them at school, be proud.
And did you watch Rogue One?
No.
She hasn't seen it.
No Rogue One, but at least episode 1, 2, 3, and the first 3 episodes of Andor.
So she's watched the prequels. So we'll let very quickly. What are your thoughts on the Star Wars prequels?
Yeah, you're a Star Wars
genuine
newbie.
Genuine thoughts. If you hate them,
No, I liked 3 the best.
Okay, good.
3's classic though. Everyone loves 3.
I will say 2 was my least favorite.
Okay, that's
understandable.
usually what people would say.
A lot of people don't like Phantom Menace too, don't they?
Usually tactical incidents are the worst though. So I actually completely agree with what you just said. All right, valid.
Thank you.
Okay.
What was your favorite part about the prequels? Like, what was your favorite scene out of the prequels?
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
a loaded question.
Like you texted us earlier saying you liked what was it? You like the music and the fight scene in Phantom Menace, like with Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, you always gotta put that in there. That's always the top 3.
Okay, so Duel of the Fates was one of the key moments for her.
Yeah. I mean, I think Duel of the Fates is key moment for everyone at this point, man. Duel of the Fates is a classic in the books.
I'm gonna turn the gain down a bit because it's kind of capping a lot.
Ah, got you.
Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so
You
yeah,
wanna
we'll
start?
probably talk at this volume.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. Okay, Andor. We'll go by each episode. Well, we don't have to go by each
Yeah.
episode. Let's just discuss the.
Do you want just like everyone gives like a broad opinion and then maybe we just like
Yeah.
talk about
Into
each
it.
episode
Without
briefly?
diving into spoilers,
Yeah.
because we'll do spoilers in a minute. What are your thoughts so far on the show as a whole?
I mean, little cheat code, but me and Aiden talked about this the other day at work. Doesn't feel like a Star Wars show. I mean, we both talked about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a Star Wars show. Like, it doesn't feel like a traditional, you've got the Book of Boba Fett, you got Mando, you've got Kenobi. Am I missing anything?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of the three main big ones. It doesn't feel like
The
anything.
live action ones, at least.
Yeah, live action ones. It doesn't feel anything like those three, which I'm not mad about. I'm just worried. Like, this
The
might be
camera's
just
there, by the way.
I know where the camera is. I'm just a bit worried. You see a lot of companies, taking a formula that works well for them and then changing it up, and then not a lot of people liking the new formula, and then they don't change it back, and it just gets sort of frowned upon. Like, one big company that's done that is Call of Duty. Everyone knows Call of Duty hasn't been great for the last 10 years. But we're not talking about Call of Duty right now, we're talking about Star Wars. But that's just my thing. I hope this new formula, I don't mind it. It's definitely different, but I hope if it works, that they keep it, but maybe for select shows only. Because this show's supposed to be a spy espionage show, right? Sort of?
Yeah.
Yeah, spy espionage show, yeah. So I feel like this tone works for the spy espionage sort of genre. But first 3 episodes, I mean, I wasn't sitting there, having a snooze. It was definitely interesting for sure, It looks beautiful. A lot of those shots look really nice. I mean, without diving into spoilers, but, there's the scene where the two of them are on the speeder and they're speeding across, part of that land. Just that shot just looks super clean, the classic, if it was a boat, it was kind of shoots up water when it goes across.
The air.
Yeah, that just looked really good. I mean, just all the shots look really good. The whole city that they're in and everything. Personally, I think, so far it's really good.
All right, fair. You go
Yeah.
next.
I kind of agree with Andrew. I mean, first off, opening scene, cinematography is already miles better than Kenobi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was, I was like, damn.
Who's directing this one?
Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy.
I
Is that the
think
first
he-
time doing Star Wars?
No.
No? What else has he done?
He did Rogue One.
Oh, so
He didn't direct Rogue One, though.
co-directed it?
I don't know what he did, but Rogue One was directed by Gareth Edwards. Gareth Edwards did Godzilla 2014.
Oh.
I think Tony Gilroy
okay.
helped write Rogue One, and he's
Okay.
writing this show. So he helped write Rogue One. He's helping writing this, but I think this is his first direct, his first time directing something Star Wars.
Yeah.
related.
Oh,
I thought he was the guy who picked it up after all those all the weird stuff went down with it.
Oh, that might have been it, because Gareth Edwards, that could be true, because I know they did reshoots. Tony Gilroy might have been the person who took over. Actually, I did not look into that, so that actually could be very accurate. And they just gave final credit to...
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so,
Yeah.
visually, yeah.
Visually, it's good. Same with Andrew. It doesn't really feel like Star Wars, really. But it's kind of hard because, I don't know, we're so used to this one aspect of how
Yes.
you go
Formulas.
with Star Wars, right? There's always a lot of action. There's always kind of this banter of sorts a bit. I mean, it's not like Marvel type banter, but it's banter. And then you have, I don't know, you have cool characters and stuff like that, which I'd say that has a lot of that in there. I mean, the one thing I found really weird is that I think it would have been fine, the setting, but for some reason, there's no recognizable alien species whatsoever in this show. There's no Togrutas, there's no Twi'leks that I've seen.
Nothing that screams, hey, this is Star Wars.
Yeah, no Toydarians or stuff like that. I mean, like, I love the new alien species and stuff like that. Obviously, Star Wars is like this massive galaxy, right? But like, you would at least think there'd be like some of the same species around. Yeah, and like, I think the story's great. Without going into detail, it's very well written. Again, a lot better
word, by the way. It's very
than
nice.
Kenobi, in terms of like
Characters and story.
Yeah. Story and congruence of everything working together in this narrative so far. You know, we're only 4 episodes.
4 out of 12.
Yeah,
It's the longest series out of any.
We're already 1/3 through.
Yeah,
right?
1/3
Jeez.
through. Yeah, but yeah, I think. Yeah,
It doesn't scream Star Wars. If they didn't plaster Star Wars on the front of, like, you know, the trailer or, you know, what's it called, thumbnail or whatever, I wouldn't think it was Star Wars if I wasn't if I wasn't a Star Wars fan and I just came across it on Disney Plus and there was nothing saying it was Star Wars, it'd be no way for me to tell it was Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until, like, maybe they brought up the whole
TIE fighters or stuff like that.
TIE
Yeah.
fighters,
Yeah.
Empire, stuff like that. Like, the first episode didn't really deal with that much. They mentioned it, but, like, if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're not really gonna know this was Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Also,
and, like, I don't know. You keep going.
Yeah. Also, like, one thing that actually I really loved. So, you know, you watch the trailers, you thought it was, you know, oh, it's like a darker tone. But then, without going into spoilers, when you watch at least the first 3 episodes, you're like, God damn, this is darker than I expected.
Yeah.
And I really love that because, you know, Star Wars doesn't really go into those, like, dark aspects of
Very often, yeah.
of the universe, right? Unless it's like a video game or like an animated show, maybe.
Disneyfied.
Yeah. Well, it's even been like that with Lucas, right?
That's true.
But yeah, like I really hope that they continue with that kind of like dark, gritty feel still. Yeah.
Alright, Maya, what about your thoughts?
Coming from me, who hasn't watched anything until like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Who's only seen the prequels and gone to this.
I was a bit lost. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Everything looked sick. The shots were too good. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I was a sucker for some good cinematography.
I am. I 100% am. That's all that I was like thinking about when I was watching it. Cause I was a bit lost, so I was like, oh, let's just enjoy the view.
That's fair, I guess, because, yeah, coming from an outsider perspective, like, if you're a person who hasn't seen Star Wars and you're going completely chronological, like, so far you've done the correct order.
Yeah.
I think Solo technically was before this, but you wouldn't really still understand a whole lot of stuff. I can see how it would be kind of confusing because you're skipping ahead, but... So that's actually interesting, hearing that.
Yeah, because, like, you guys have all seen them. You have a whole different perspective than me.
Yeah. So, yeah, because you know, Revenge of the Sith ends with the Empire kind of starting.
Yeah.
But,
and
like,
now
it
you're
doesn't
just
really show you that.
Yeah, and now you're just jumping into the Empire existing. So that's an interesting point. Is that really all I have to say?
Well, like, even though that I was a bit lost, like, the plot was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, what just wrote this?
Yo, yeah, I don't.
Ah, phew.
In a way we get monetized, bro.
Yeah. As for me, so far, I think so far, if it keeps up the way it is right now, I think it is the best Disney Plus Star Wars show. I actually love it so far.
Hot take?
I like that it's different. No, actually, I see a lot of people online agreeing with me.
No, you give me some solid evidence.
Because here's what I think is great about it so far. I will agree, that was interesting hearing your point about the alien species. I hadn't thought about that, and that's true. It doesn't entirely bother me because, you know, it's just kind of... maybe later on in the series we'll see more familiar. It could just be the planet they're on is kind of an area where you don't get as many different species. I don't know, but I didn't think about that as far as not seeing familiar Star Wars species, but...
I mean, there's that one planet they visit that, you know, you're very surprised you don't see something that you recognize.
Yeah, one thing, I'll get to one point in a minute, but, no, so far, the first thing I noticed just from the first episode, it is, the first 2 episodes, episode 3 I think really picks up things, but the first 2 episodes are purely character focused, and, some people who, like, don't have, like, the same attention span for things might have considered those episodes a bit slow.
Snooze fest.
Because they were a slower burn. They didn't have action, and they were more focused on the characters, but the thing that was apparent to me, like, 20 minutes into the episode was how good the writing is. Like, just from a dialogue standpoint, like, just the conversations between the characters, I was like, okay, this is very well written when you compare it to, like, Kenobi, which Kenobi didn't have good writing from a story perspective or from a dialogue perspective. This show,
Can
like...
I pause you for a sec?
Yeah.
Kenobi just threw the fans what they wanted to see.
Well,
except
really... it wasn't what they wanted to
No, not what they wanted to see, but, it gave us...
What they think they wanted the fans wanted.
Yeah, like, they just wanted, spoiler if you haven't seen Kenobi, but they gave us, a scene with Anakin, again, as a Jedi.
Yeah.
They gave us the
Vader.
return of Ewan and Vader, aka, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And, they gave us a little bit more aspect on what it was like watching over Luke.
Yeah.
And, that's what the company, thought we wanted to see. They threw it at us.
Well, it was kind of what we wanted, but the way they
sure.
handled it wasn't how
we said, that's nice.
But,
there's more, though.
Yeah, so, like, just from, like I said, purely from, like, a dialogue standpoint, it just feels more professionally written, and there's more depth to the characters behind them already. Like, I personally love following... I like how it's not, like, stormtroopers going after Andor. It's basically, like, the Imperial's, like, police force, essentially. Is that what it's kind of? It's, like...
I think from what I heard...
Or there might not even be Imperial. There might just be police force, and they kind of fall under the...
Yeah,
they fall under payroll.
They're like an outsource.
Yeah, and I love that. I think that's cool, because it's a different aspect of the galaxy, because always, like, Star Wars is always so often just Jedi and Stormtroopers, and so it's nice seeing... Because realistically, there would be more in this universe, so it's nice seeing a different threat. Like, the story for the series so far is literally 2 police officers got killed by Andor.
Is this
and now this is, well, yeah, it's in the first 5 minutes, but I suppose it's kind of minor spoilers right now.
We're jumping to spoilers, boys and girls.
Well, this is minor spoilers. This isn't anything too crazy.
But we can just dive
so
into spoilers.
far, okay, yeah. So far, basically, it's just Andor killed 2 police officers. The police force is going after him, and meanwhile, he's joined this rebellion group, and they're trying to, kind of build the rebellion. And so it's like, the show's literally just about him having killed 2 police officers. That's such a small-scale thing compared to, like, all of these other things that exist in the Star Wars universe, and I like that.
I'm Vader, I'm gonna blow up some planets.
It's literally
my big plan.
Well, it's nice to have something simplistic for once.
It is, and on top of that, I also really like we talked about the cinematography. Show looks fantastic. Like, not just the cinematography, but also just the color grading and the lighting. Because Kenobi looked so flat visually, and honestly, Boba Fett did to an extent as well with certain episodes.
Yeah, very gray episodes.
Any episode directed by Robert Rodriguez is very flat looking. I do not like his visual style. And
more shots at Robert.
like, Kenobi looked like a high budget fan film to me. Like, it did. Like, the effects and just the color grading and stuff. This show looks even better than, I would say, Mandalorian. It looks so sharp. Like, effects are amazing. Cinematography is always great. First 5 minutes, it gave me heavy Blade Runner vibes.
That is true.
With just the colors, and it has a neo-noir-esque feel to it. Like, the first scene, it's definitely more serious for Star Wars. There's not much humor, if any, so far. The first scene is him going to a brothel, right? Trying to find his sister.
Yeah.
So, like, that right there is just a different aspect of Star Wars. But obviously, that kind of stuff would exist in the universe. It's just something that hasn't been touched on. So, I'm really liking that.
Thank God they touched on it. I wanted to know, man.
So the first
Where do you go for fun?
They kind of, actually, you know what? They kind of had pleasure boxing the Clone Wars. There actually was those,
they did
those big ones.
Wait, would you consider the Twi'leks at Jabba's palace technically also, like...
Yeah, to a degree. They're like, they're exotic dancers.
Exotic dancers,
There's also the club scene in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Attack of the
some
Clones.
death sticks, yeah.
So there is, like, kind of... But this is, like, you know, they're, like, straight up using the term brothel in the show.
Yeah.
And then, so far, I've really liked... I think the characters I'm most interested in is actually the police force. I really like the dynamic with the main guy who, you know, takes his job super seriously and stuff, but he is not a good... Like, he's not good at giving speeches to the other police officers.
His confidence is up here.
But, well, his
thought of confidence is up here, but it's
when
really,
he actually
like,
gives his speech, it's down here.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, the Scottish guy who is,
I
like...
love him.
He was the commissioner in the Batman that gets killed with the rat cage on his face. Pete
Was
Savage.
he?
Yeah,
Same guy?
Same
Oh.
actor. So I'm just really liking the dynamic between all these characters and how, like, you know, they're so, like, no, like, this is how it needs to be done. This is, like, what the Empire stands for. So I really like all that stuff. And then Episode 3 is where things pick up. Episode 3, I would say, is close to a 10 for me. Like, I just thought that, especially, like, it was so interesting, and I just loved when they had the all the people in the town just banging on the metal things to like kind of intimidate the Empire and or the police officers and kind of throw their thought process off or whatever. Love that. I thought it was so great. And then freaking love Stellan Skarsgård in the show so far. Like, just his conversations with Andor. That's Eric Selvig, by the way.
Oh, my boy Eric Selvig.
Yeah.
Love him.
Love his character, like, just their dynamic and then topping. I love that part when they're in that kind of, like, factory, and then they shoot and all those, like, metal things are falling down. That whole sequence.
Like engines or something like that, right?
It's all that stuff is so great. And, like, that scene is, like, very good at building tension. Like, that whole final act was so good at building tension when they have the people hitting the instruments. It's just extremely well directed, right? Like, there's no music, it's just the instruments, and then the instruments stop and you hear nothing, and it's just like, what's going to happen?
Eerie.
It's very, very well directed, very well written.
I ain't gonna lie, if I was the Empire Police or whatever we're calling them, I'd be heading out, bro. I'd be shitting my pants head now. I'm like,
packing up your
What
things.
did those two police officers do?
There's the
that?
guys who tried to...
yeah, they're like, get out of here. Or I didn't tell them get out of here. Go get a ship flying around.
There's the guy
Bro
who
said,
tried...
I'm out of here.
There's the guy who tried to leave, and then the ship was, like, attached to the cable, so it just crashed immediately.
Yeah.
Like, all that stuff's great. I also, another thing it dealt with was Andor has this girl that he knows, who's on this planet, and she's in a relationship with this one guy, and he thinks that she's cheating on him. So, like, he spends the entire, like, 2 episodes, thinking that she's cheating on him with Andor, and then dude just gets killed.
Bro gets murked
he dies.
in the episode.
It was kind of surprising.
Bro literally just came up and was like, can you uncuff her? She's not harmless. Get back. Can you just, like, uncuff her?
Classic police move.
Yeah, classic. I'm just going to shoot first and ask questions later. And he just shot him. He's just laying on the ground, and his woman's sitting there looking at him saying, what the hell just happened?
So, guy dies still caring for this girl who he thinks cheated on him.
That's a tough way to go out, man.
So, yeah, all that stuff I'm just really liking. And then episode 4, we won't talk about as much just because Maya hasn't seen it.
It's still a good episode, though.
But episode 4 I really liked. It's definitely, a lot of it was focused on Coruscant and Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
And
Coruscant looks
so
great.
good. Seeing it with modern effects is just
great.
awesome.
I don't know.
You don't like looking at it?
I didn't feel like it was like the classic Coruscant from like the
It seemed
sequels.
darker. Did it seem darker to you from the outside of the
Well,
planet?
there's two things.
The interior felt more like Bespin, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But the outside
it was
was-
too clean for Coruscant. For me.
Yeah, it felt like there
Well,
was like...
okay.
Yeah, okay.
I will have a little rebuttal against that.
Yeah, it's a
because-
podcast. You can rebuttal all you want.
Because the thing with Coruscant is there's many different areas. There's
Yeah.
the shitty, low-end, like, nightclub area, and there's the high-end Senate area. We're watching Mon Mothma where she's going to an art gallery that is for very rich people.
Yeah.
And so I think, and she's a huge political figure. I think she's actually supposed to be with the Empire in this show.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and so she's a
Really?
huge...
I thought she was with the rebellion for some
She
reason.
is with the rebellion.
She's with the
but
rebellion,
still
but
in the Senate.
The rebellion doesn't exist yet. So right now she's Empire. Like, she is Empire, but she doesn't actually like them.
You kind of just have to pick sides at this point.
So, that's the thing I like, though, is that her house, like, you see her area, and it's a very fancy-looking room, and I think that's because high-end area, right? Because she's a political figure. So I think the clean look fits for her lifestyle.
The architecture, though, could have at least been less brutalist, because it was just, like, a whole bunch of concrete. Like, also, I don't know if it was...
Well, I thought a lot of it was very neon lighty, sort of.
Not with
Coruscant.
With Coruscant in the nightclub district, not as
Yeah.
much with... Because if you look at the Senate where, like, they meet Palpatine and they talk to him, that's Coruscant, and that's all very...
You're right, never mind.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it was just me, but when they did the overhead shot of Coruscant, it looked like New York buildings, like high skyscraper buildings. Like, I don't know.
Did they change a lot after the Empire became
Like,
made
maybe
their home
that
base
might
sort
be
of thing?
true, because it is, it's like 15 years after
Revenge
of the Sith.
might
So
have-
maybe
yeah.
maybe they were like what they did with the Venator class destroyers at first. Is like where they like
Little makeover?
they took away all the paint and stuff and just made it gray. So maybe it's more like that. Maybe it's supposed to be more brutalist because it's brutalism in architecture is like, more form and order and stuff like that. So maybe there's like a conscious choice on that, but I don't know. At least like one classic shot of maybe like, I don't know.
Did we even see the Senate building?
This kind of
kinda,
stuff
like,
doesn't bother me personally.
No.
It's not something that like
Just small details, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I still so far like with Andor, not a whole lot has happened. The show is taking its time. Like right now, episode 4 is setting up for this like heist that they're gonna do.
Yeah.
That heist is gonna be nuts.
Which will probably be next episode.
So you think I'm thinking episode 6 low key because they said 3 days till they go and do it. They're not gonna push 3 days all in one episode.
We'll see.
There's gotta be some inner tension within that group. That group isn't gonna get along right away, and you saw that in episode 4.
Yeah.
It's gonna take more than a day for them, or a night technically, because they ended off them at the campfire.
Something will probably go wrong before the
Yeah.
heist.
Yeah.
That would probably go. But you gonna say too much? My hesitation.
That's true.
No, but so far, I think the show's great. I'm really liking it. If it keeps it up, and definitely, I already know it's going to get more intense and more shit's going to go down, but if it keeps up its pace, for me, it's on track to be the best written Star Wars live-action series so far. I'll say the best written. Mandalorian still might be the most entertaining, but I do think this already kind of... Because Mandalorian, to me, the first season especially, didn't really have much of a story. It was kind of a bunch of, just, side quests.
I wasn't mad about that though.
No, but I'm just saying so far I think this has the best overarching story out of the series.
100%.
So I'm really liking it. I think the series will continue to build, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. Last note with episode 4, I really liked the conversation with the actual Imperials. All those guys in their room really liked that.
They sounded so smart.
It felt like classic. It felt like classic, like A New Hope. Like executive board meeting.
Yeah, they sounded like they were running like fucking Tesla out here, man, or Apple or Amazon.
One thing I really like that they played up on there is like the whole political game
that
they were trying to play, because in the comics, right, like the Thrawn comics and stuff like that, Empire, all of the politicians and people like that in Moss, they're all just like vying for power and stuff like that. So like, I really like that they added that aspect into that, where it's like, no one trusts each other, even though they're on the same side, right? Because it's more about, the one girl, right? The guy was like, you just want a promotion. And it's like, I don't know. That was one part I really liked.
They're all trying to get to that end goal of, they want to be better than everyone else. I kind of think the Empire's, how most societies are built on like a pyramid, and it's like the top guy's always top dog, and the bottom's always the bottom. I feel like the Empire sort of very much mimics that. Like if you're not top, you're not great. Like you really get handed
even if you're second best, you're still not.
You're just not great. What I mean? It's like if you're bottom that period within the Empire, you're cleaning the freaking trash chutes on the Death Star. But if you're top, you're like reporting to Vader himself at that point. You know what I mean? It's a very what's the word you used? Was it socialist?
Genius.
I forget what word you used to describe it. Whatever Aiden said to describe how the Empire felt to him, that's exactly how I feel.
Brutalist?
Brutalist, yeah. Like, you gotta be top dog or you're just nothing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, can't be better than that. But, overall, really good show, I feel like.
Yeah.
What do we think of final kill count, though? Like, 2 people are murked within 4 episodes.
More than two people have been murked.
Oh, no, I mean 3, my bad. 3? What do we think of the 2 guys in the beginning?
2 guys at the beginning. You got the guy that thought the girl was cheating on him.
There was 4 of the police guys that got exploded from that car.
Yeah, there was a couple of people from the Imperial stuff. There's also the flashback scenes with Andor as a kid where they're shooting the darts at those guys. That was the question I had.
Yeah.
This is what I was going to bring up.
Where the hell what is Canarsi?
It's the planet that he's from. My question, what I was going to bring up with that planet is, some of the Imperials, they were lying there and their screen was green. So do you think that the air there is toxic to outsiders? That's what because I noticed that some of them they went into the ship and they were already dead and they had green skin. So I'm wondering if the air there is you have to adapt to it kind of thing.
What about race?
Maybe. I thought it was more this. I think from what I've seen,
or was it the arrows that were toxic?
No, I think it was
they're sort of yellowy green when they were just on the ground dead already.
Yeah. What I think the theory is that there was they were carrying a chemical weapon.
Oh, okay.
And then it went off when they went down.
Oh, when they crashed. That is fair, yeah.
Yeah, and how do you feel about there's been some discussion and debate about the continuity issues because they do have separatist insignias, but but they talk about the Republic coming, but then when like they're referencing the the mining accident, they're calling it the Empire and stuff like that. And
maybe when did the Empire adapt the Imperial sigil? Because maybe they kept the Separatist one for a little bit.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like the one that like the genetic guys in the Mandalorian were using.
What do you think, Maya?
It's like, wait, what's the Separatist again?
I literally was not listening.
We-
Completely zoned out because you were like, oh, we're going to stop talking about this because Maya's a bit lost. Been lost for 5 minutes.
Not bad, we're still on.
We need to change topics.
Yeah.
Nah, but I'm not sure, Aiden. That's a good question.
That is, yeah, that's not something I noticed personally. The kind of continuities I notice are like the Kenobi writer not knowing that Vader. Not knowing stuff like that.
So what's the deal with Kanari?
I think it's just a planet from I think it's kind of an outskirt planet area.
Yeah.
I think
but
it's
like
kind
they've
of
got like some, but like they feel very
tribal.
yeah,
like undeveloped.
like they
Well,
had that whole mining field, right? They didn't really do much with that mining field. They didn't really make like actual houses or anything.
It might have been like they had like there were lesser developed and they had natural resources, and the Empire was after the natural resources, and they were like, I think the whole point is kind of showing about like imperialism taking over like these places where people already live.
They feel really outdated though. Like I feel like
Well,
they're really
that's
behind
the
on the
point.
times.
That's the
yeah,
point.
like I feel like they were a very peaceful sort of planet, and then the Empire showed up. I mean, that's what happens when the Empire shows up. But like
Every four nations lived in harmony. Everything changed and the Fire Nation attacked.
classic Avatar.
Yeah, I think. Well, no, yeah, that's the whole point of that planet. I think because the Imperials.
There's got to be more to that. I
'cause
feel
when
like
the
we'll
police-
find out more about.
Because
that
when people are
planet.
looking it up, they don't know what Kanari people look like. Because I think it's such a kind of,
it's kind of like
it's like bringing up a country that's like so small that nobody knows about really.
it's
Like,
sort of
really
like the
it's-
Camino sort of.
well, exactly. Like how
yeah.
Camino was kind of just like
It just
outskirts,
It
like
was just
very
blank
far.
on the map, right?
So I
Someone
think-
got rid of it.
Well, that was Dooku. That was intentional. But I think this is like there's a more of a. I think it's just like I said, it's just kind of like a planet that's smaller, kind of out of the way. Nobody really knows much about.
Do you think they're gonna build off of more of that?
I think
they'll revisit more of that.
I think
in the
there's gonna be
show?
more flashbacks. I think a big part
Yeah.
of the show is gonna be about him and his sister and him getting back to her. I think that's a big part of it.
Are we gonna ever see the sister? You think?
I think we will. But no, so far I'm really liking it. I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. I don't really have any issues so far, honestly. I think the first episodes are slower, but I think it's taking its time to build its characters. You're liking it. You're just worried that it feels a bit different, and you don't want them to keep up with that.
No,
Here's my thing.
That's not exactly what I said.
Well,
I said
I don't think
if the
that's
formula works, the formula works.
Yeah, I think it
But
works
if
for
this
this
formula
show.
works for this show, and they sort of want to do more spy espionage show, because this whole period of time between 3 and 4 is
Has a
spy
lot of-
espionage sort of stuff, right?
The reason why I'm not worried personally about the whole franchise changing is because if you look at what's coming up for Star Wars, we have
Oh yeah, we'll talk
Mando
about
season
that.
3.
We'll talk about
We
that.
have Ahsoka, which Dave Filoni's making, so it's gonna very much so mimic what his stuff always has been. We have like the Star Wars Droid series. We have the Acolyte show, which is gonna be set before the prequels and following Sith, and so. I think we're going to get a lot of different aspects of Star Wars. I don't see this show becoming like the new standard of what the content's going to be like.
Yeah.
I think this is just this show. So I'm not worried personally.
No, I'm not crazy worried. This works for this show.
Roll the camera back 20 minutes ago.
Yo. Hey, I just say stuff to say stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing, but I think it works. I think we're in for a good 12 episodes.
Yep, and this is season 1. They're doing a season 2.
Yeah, they already didn't they confirm that before even season 1 dropped. Damn,
Yeah.
they said.
So they have faith in it. And then your final thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think I like the pace and the plot and the stuff like that. I'm just more worried about one, continuity with stuff like that, like I mentioned, and then it just feeling like Star Wars, because to be honest, putting aside the species that we already know, I mean, other than like what we saw at whatever the backwater planet was that Cassian was on, at first there was like no no other species. And I get that for Coruscant, especially in the Empire times, because there's this whole thing where it's like, oh, we hate the aliens because they associate that with the Separatists, so they're like, no aliens, and that's the George Lucas explanation for why all the people in the Imperial Navy
Or like humanoid.
are humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I'm worried about is Cassian not being the main character, because
Yeah. I can see that.
I feel more invested in the one
Eric Silver's character.
yeah yeah
I don't remember the character's name, but yeah. Well, I think
did we hear his name? I don't
yeah
think
we
he's
did
given-
in episode 4.
Oh, I didn't
I don't
think we
remember
heard
his
his
name.
name.
That's true. I think so far Andor isn't an extremely interesting character yet.
Yeah.
And that's something that we'll just have to see as time goes on where that really leads.
He
So
might
I'm
never
not- I'm
be
not-
an interesting character. That, like, yes, he can be interesting.
We should
but-
change topics since that Mike
Yeah.
talk.
Last piece, though. I mean, he was side character in Rogue One.
Last piece,
Yeah.
5
He
minutes
feels
ago.
like he might be a side character for this show.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not planning on making him a.
Well, I
main
think
character.
he'll get more stuff later. I think
Yeah.
right now they're just trying. I think they're kind of getting the story going, and then we're gonna get more of his stuff.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
next topic. I guess.
Do you just want to continue on the Star Wars and just talk about Bad Batch season 2?
Well, we'll do that last because I think Maya needs to say some stuff.
Okay.
So next topic we'll do is we'll just go in order.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Runtime.
So Black Panther. So this is the next one. I'll
Wakanda
introduce the
Forever,
topic.
of course. Yes.
Okay, so Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Andrew's most anticipated movie for the year, coming
Man,
out
you know
November
how it is.
9th or November 11th. November 11th.
11th, same day as Remembrance Day.
So coming out November 11th,
Actually, that's kind of good.
That is really, I know. I'm
and
down about that.
so anyways, but yeah, no. So Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Andrew's very excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, especially after the trailer. Initially, I wasn't super excited because I was on the side of the people who kind of thought they should have recasted the character personally, but and I still kind of feel that way. But the trailer was quite promising to me. I thought it looked very good. And the running time just got confirmed. It is 2 hours and 41 minutes long, making it
Longest in phase?
longest in Phase 4, but I think
Yeah.
the second or third longest MCU film period.
What's the longest?
Longest is Endgame.
And then probably Infinity War?
I think it goes Endgame. I think this actually might beat Infinity War, but I'm not entirely sure. Infinity War might be a few minutes more.
241 with credits?
This is 241 with credits.
Okay.
They never say the time of a movie without credits. So
Scrap
in
4 or
reality,
5
the movie will probably be about
2:35.
2:28 or so. Marvel credits go on for about
that's
a good
true.
13 minutes. So I mean, here's my thoughts. Cool. I don't really have much to say about the running time. I mean,
We got a teaser trailer. We didn't get the full trailer yet.
It's
We
nice,
should get
yeah.
one in the next couple of weeks, like an
Yeah,
actual official
an
trailer.
actual
for
official
it.
trailer will
Yeah,
be
that's
soon.
a teaser.
Well, the teaser trailer was still sick.
Teaser?
Yeah.
True.
this is a great
You
trailer.
would know. You watched it like 10 times.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I like every time that trailer comes on and you just hear Bob Marley's. What's the song called?
No woman, no cry.
Yeah, No Woman, No Crying in the background, man. I swear to God, I'm about to go to tears. I am a
Well,
sucker.
because you know the music is gonna be sick.
Wow. I'm excited for another Kendrick and
Ludwig Göransson collab.
picture Lud, Kendrick Lamar, and The Weeknd all on the
Yeah.
same album. That's gonna be hard as hell.
But no, I think the movie looks good. I thought the teaser trailer was quite good. Visually, it looks great. It looks
Ryan knows how to get some nice shots.
yeah, the shots are nice, and it just looks interesting. I think the trailer was very well edited. The music was great, obviously,
Yeah.
and I'm looking.
Man,
forward
we were
to
singing
it.
that at work the other
We were
day
singing
for
that at
like a
work
solid
quite a bit.
half an hour. That's
Yeah.
how good the music was.
So no, I'm quite looking forward to the movie. I'd say my excitement's at like a solid 8 out of 10 or so.
Best MCU movie of the year?
Well,
Most
I think
likely.
it's most likely.
It doesn't have a lot to compare with. Doctor
Yeah. I
Strange,
think
Thor:
it'll-
Love and Thunder.
I think it'll win easily.
Yeah.
We don't
But
have
no,
anything after Black Panther, right?
the running time. No, the running time to me is a good thing, right? Like, had it been announced, oh, it's gonna be 2 hours long, I would have been more worried because when Thor was announced to be an hour and 58, I was like, oh, that's an
Hell
hour
no.
and 40 without credits. That's
Yeah.
kind of alarming, and it obviously ended up.
And it turned out being not great that it wasn't.
And it affected the movie for
Yeah.
sure, because there were certain characters like Gore who did not get the screen time they deserved. So Black Panther, 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think that's really good. I'm excited for the movie. I wanted the movie to honestly not, when I say be like Andor, all I mean is like be serious. I don't want the movie to be filled with a bunch of like regular MCs, because I was looking at a clip from Multiverse of Madness that just made me cringe. It's like when the guy walks in and he's like, "We give you the Illuminati," and then Doctor Strange's response is the Illuma-whatty. Like jokes like that are just so stupid and like
Well, because
classic boy band
movie
joke
was
he
also
makes too.
so
Did you guys
rushed.
short in the
Yeah.
80s?
yeah.
Man, no.
So, I think that 2 hours and 40 minutes is really good.
It looks very serious. Just from the teaser, like the
does.
whole like first 30 seconds of the teaser
I
is
think-
just them.
I think it needs
At
to
a
be serious
funeral.
to kind of honor Chadwick in a
It
way.
has
Yeah.
to.
I
Has
think
to.
if the movie just like kind of it just has a bunch of jokes and stuff, it's gonna take away from it. I think if we
you'll
need
get a
to-
little bit of banter probably between
Yeah.
Shuri and
I'm not saying be
No.
devoid of comedy,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying when the movie is in its more serious phase, stay serious. Don't just have like stupid shit like we come from Atlantis. Atlanta what? Like
what is
They
it?
changed
That's-
that?
it's, like,
Did they
low-key
change it?
embarrassing.
it's not
gonna be
Atlantis. It's they're calling it
the
something else.
Mexican or whatever. God.
It's I know I saw there was it's Mexican or Aztec I think,
Yeah.
and it's like he channels some power of the god. Like he is a mutant.
Yeah.
He technically is a mutant, but he channels some of his power from some god.
Yeah, they changed the title to something else, but
Yeah.
I think it was good. I don't really have much else to say. I think it's gonna be
Man.
like
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it short because I could probably talk about this for
Can
the
we
next
let-
7
let's
hours.
let Maya go first.
But I'll let Maya go first.
Okay.
That was my head. Thank you. What, you want to just talk about the teaser?
Just your thoughts on the running time of the teaser. Yeah.
Oh, the running time. I think that it's a good length compared to like all the other like recent movies because all of them were rushed.
Yep.
And you could tell with how like quickly it would jump from like one important thing to another. So you can tell by like the running length, it's gonna actually take its time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true.
Anything
And
else?
The teaser trailer.
Oh, the teaser trailer. It was too good. I'm not gonna lie. Coming from like someone who isn't a huge like Marvel fan, unlike someone over here beside me, and like.
I'm gonna say if you're gonna say Black Panther fan, I would be a little disappointed. in
No,
you.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I know your
like,
ass ain't coming to Black Panther with me then.
I honestly think that like the teaser trailer was perfectly set.
Yeah, it was the perfect it was perfect for a teaser trailer
Oh, 100%.
because it doesn't
It's
give
probably
away.
the best teaser trailer we've seen in a while.
I would,
Oh,
Kenobi
actually, Kenobi was good.
teaser.
No,
dude,
are we talking about Marvel teaser
Okay,
trailers though?
yeah.
Marvel teaser trailers. I
Yeah,
would
we're good for
say,
going Marvel teaser
Yeah.
trailers.
I would say.
I mean,
on
nothing
Star
beats the
Wars.
classic Thor: Love and Thunder teaser trailer.
I think this does.
Yeah, I think this
No,
does
no,
too.
the music. That's what made Thor: Love and
I
Thunder.
think the music beats.
Yeah.
I think the music in this beats it.
Man,
People are literally obsessed with this teaser trailer.
Guns N' Roses is a little overplayed these days.
Yeah.
For my taste.
Anyways, that was my thoughts done.
Oh, fair.
I want to say a couple things.
Yep.
Beautiful. I swear to God, if I don't cry 3 times that movie, I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself. I better cry when.
Probably the first time they show a thing of Chadwick.
No,
I'm
literally.
crying, man.
They're gonna have a funeral scene.
As soon as the scene,
I'm
as
bawling
soon as,
my eyes out.
Nah,
Yeah,
as soon as the
actually.
movie starts, he's sobbing.
They're gonna have a funeral scene.
The Marvel Studios intro comes up on the screen, I'm bawling my eyes
The Marvel
out.
Studios intro is probably gonna be all Chadwick. Is my thought.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be all Chadwick.
So
Man,
people
I'll cry
saw.
now.
Probably like you know how when it said like thank you Stan, it'll probably be like for Chadwick or something.
Yeah, 100%. It's gotta
And then there's gonna be a funeral scene.
I'm crying then.
You're crying now.
I'm crying now. I'm crying now. I'm crying when
It
we get
ends.
revealed who the Black Panther is. The new Black Panther.
It's gonna be
I'm crying at the end. I'm crying when I'm on the ride home.
Yeah.
And
then you're
I'm
crying.
crying myself to sleep. Man, there's just something about this movie now that just gave me crying. But 100%, it's gotta be the best MCU movie of the year. My expectations is it's gotta be as good as the first Black Panther or better, or I'm gonna be very disappointed, especially since he is now dead. Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. my boy.
Well, because I will say honestly, for the first one, like Chadwick great in the role, he was not the most interesting character in that movie.
Nah, I didn't feel like it was this movie.
It-
I felt like it was Eric Killmonger's movie.
Eric Killmonger was the most interesting character in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Soundtrack's gonna be unbelievable. I know I'm bumping that
100%.
soundtrack for months.
I'm hoping the
Bruh.
VFX aren't rushed like the previous MCU movies because
Yeah,
they've been on
didn't-
crunch.
Did
and
Kev come out and say that he's, or not Kev, but I've seen a lot of things on Twitter where people are saying the VFX artists have been pushed really hard lately in the last couple movies to get shit done, and like when they get it done, they get it sent back saying we need this done in a couple days.
Yeah, like they'll change whole.
Yeah.
I think for
whole
Endgame,
scenes,
the entire third act, like pretty close to the movie's release, they were like, yeah, it's gonna be nighttime now. So they had to like change like the color correction and stuff, and that's definitely an issue with the MCU is like just the crunch time, and because there's so many projects, they have so many things going on. Like that's why She-Hulk looks. I haven't even watched an episode of She-Hulk, but that's why the CGI looks bad. It's because of how.
And it's so sad because they have a base model character for Hulk and they just couldn't modify that to make it look better.
Yeah, because Hulk actually looks good in the show because they already have his.
Yeah, he's got his base model. But
She-Hulk looks like a PS2 cutscene.
No. This is what I've seen all over Twitter. The FIFA career mode when you go to talk to like a manager about getting signed, it looks exactly like a cutscene in that. It looks great. But back to Black Panther.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a dope soundtrack. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
Big bump in that forever. What else am I trying to think? It's just I'm just super excited, man. It's gonna be a great movie.
Very excited for it, for sure.
Very excited. Some thoughts on that. Go for it, man.
I'd say the trailer is up there with The Force Awakens. Like the first Force Awakens trailer.
Yeah, I think of that off the top of my head.
That was like giving me chills, and this was giving me the same feeling.
Yeah. Oh, shit. My bad, Aiden. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's just talk about the Bob Marley. I forget the song name is.
No Woman, No Cry.
No Woman, No Cry. Straight into Kendrick Lamar's All Right. All I'm gonna say. Go listen to it for yourself. It's amazing. You go back in. You can continue.
Yeah, I mean, I myself have. Not gonna lie, I've kind of given up on Marvel, to be honest.
Fair. I'm kind of getting there.
The last Marvel movie I watched was Multiverse of Madness, and I was kind of disappointed. Well, actually, no, I wasn't kind of. I was very disappointed. Especially because of the marketing and stuff like that. It's like Multiverse of Madness.
But you can see one universe.
Yeah, it's like dual verse of
madness. Of sort
Discord.
of madness, yeah.
Dual verse of Discord.
Yeah. Man, you should just go name them.
Discord or Discourse?
Discord, it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Not like the app. Like
That'd be funny.
Of Discord mods.
Yeah.
It's probably a bunch of people that went to that movie.
Yeah. I think obviously the defining moment in the trailer is when I don't even know.
My son is gone or something?
Yeah, my son is gone and like
my whole family is dead.
Angela Bassett is the actress.
Yeah. I think that was if the acting's like that throughout, I think it's going to be a great movie.
I'm wondering if it's going to be like the first Black Panther and get some Oscar noms. I haven't even actually considered that, but I wonder if it's going to be like because the first Black Panther, when it was nominated for Best Picture, is kind of like some people were kind of like, really? Like the first comic book movie and is this? It felt kind of a little bit like, I don't know, kind of...
I mean, you got to remember, though, that movie came out in 2018. What else came out in 2018 that was...
There was still quite a bit of things. It just kind of felt like...
What did it beat?
A lot of people were... Their point was kind of like... A lot of Marvel fans would say Infinity War was better than Black Panther. And that it was more deserving.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think the awards that Black Panther won, like costume, I think were deserving. I think the awards it won, costume, score, I think those things were deserving. Production
100%.
design. Good thing it wasn't nominated for visual effects because that's one thing I will say about the first Black Panther is it does not have very good CGI. It has some...
The CGI is up in this one.
It looks better. Some of the Atlantis type characters look a little weird to me personally, but
I got time to fix it.
I think the effects in this will probably be better than the ones in the last couple MCU movies. Multiverse actually has pretty solid CGI for the most part. There wasn't too much I found questionable, but Thor definitely had some.
Thor was something else.
Oh, don't get us started on Thor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of mimic your thoughts where like. I think I'm more excited for the movie than you are, but I kind of mimic your thoughts as far as the MCU as a whole right now.
What do you think?
Certainly.
So, if you guys think MCU is going downhill right now, do you think Black Panther is the start of the bump back up?
I think this is what happens.
It's going to be like the stock market. It's going down, and it's like, oh, it's about to go up, and then it just comes.
Yeah.
We get Black Panther, then Ant-Man Quantumania.
Because for me, I think the downfall of the MCU for me was the TV shows. I think they really brought it down. 100%. I think every TV show should have just been a movie. Falcon the Winter Soldier could be easily condensed to a 2-hour movie.
Good news for you guys. Armor Wars is now a good movie.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah. Scrapped the show.
Super excited.
Bring Sam Rockwell back.
2 shits.
Bring Sam Rockwell back, and we'll have a great movie.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell should come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one thing I want to mention real quick. This is to do with Marvel news, a bit recent, because I think we're moving on from Black Panther now.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to mention this. This is something I just thought about. The villain for Captain America 4, New World Order, was recently confirmed. It's going to be the leader, who is this villain from the Hulk comics. He looks like a human, but he has like a green face. He is being played. He's being played by
Edward Norton
the Incredible Hulk villain, Incredible Hulk actor. I don't remember the actor's name, but he's in the movie very briefly. So they're bringing him back after at that point it'll be about 16 years, which I think is pretty sick. I think that'll be cool.
He's a bit older now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But I don't really have too much thoughts. I just thought it was kind of cool that he's not the villain I would expect him to go with. Oh, other MCU news I just thought of. This is today. Because Thunderbolt Ross, the actor, passed away.
Did we re-sign him?
William Hurt.
Or not re-sign him, recast him?
They're looking at an actor, and I'll tell you who it is. So William Hurt, you know what he looked like, right? Gray hair, the mustache.
R.I.P.
So he passed away, unfortunately. And so they still need his character because he's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie.
Red Hulk.
So, do you know who they're looking at currently? Is apparently Harrison Ford. Which I actually think would be fire, if he takes it.
I could actually see that working.
I could very well see it working.
He's a very serious character, and Harrison Ford could do a good job.
I think I can just imagine Harrison Ford. I'm just imagining Harrison Ford in a trailer with a mustache, and he's like, "Urgh!" and then he just grows, like he just goes red and just grows into the Hulk.
The twist you never thought was coming.
Like,
the collab we never saw.
Imagine the way She-Hulk looks, but Harrison Ford in red.
That would be dude. There's gonna be so much fan art about that if that happens. That's gonna be crazy.
But apparently it's unknown if he's already turned down the role, because it seems like a kind of thing he'd be like, "Oh, fuck that." But
what's the point? Oh, fuck that.
That's Harrison Ford. I'm not doing a fucking Marvel movie. But if they give him a wad of cash, maybe, because they're probably like, "We want you to play a Marvel character. How much?" I think that's how
$1 billion. I'm in.
But
Kev's got the money to spare.
I do think that would be a great casting choice. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Want to move on to Deadpool 3?
Deadpool 3. So, Ryan Reynolds posted a video on his Instagram. Basically.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I saw both of them.
Cool. Basically, saying, Deadpool 3 is officially happening. They were trying to come up with some ideas and stuff, and then the reveal was that Deadpool 3 is going to bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So we're gonna get, and it's officially an MCU movie. So it's coming out September 2024. So
September 6th, I think.
2 years from now. And yeah, we're gonna have the two of them back together. Oh, the first time on screen together since
in the MCU.
In the MCU. Their first time on screen together since X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh god, don't get me.
But now it's legitimate Deadpool, and a lot of people are thinking that Hugh Jackman's gonna wear the comic book accurate Wolverine outfit.
I think so.
I think they'll probably go for it. Because we see it in
She-Hulk, not She-Hulk.
In Wolverine. In the Wolverine, you see it in the credit scene. So.
But they did confirm. Talking about She-Hulk, they did confirm that he is in the MCU, so they easily could just. Deadpool's in the MCU. He's in the MCU.
My guess is that I don't think Hugh Jackman's gonna continue to play the character.
No.
I think this is just gonna be a one-time thing. My guess is that it's just gonna be a multiverse situation.
Yeah.
Here's my question for
I've
you
seen
guys.
a lot of people say certain cameos are gonna be in this movie.
Well, I don't need to hear about cameos happening because multiverse didn't do that. So
yeah, let's not get on the.
People get too hyped over the cameos, and it's stupid. But no, here's my question. Because back in the day, the original plan for Deadpool 3 was to have Wolverine, and it was going to be a road trip buddy movie with the two of them.
Dude, that would be so funny.
Do you think it's going to be that, or do you think Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be enemies in this? Because the poster for the movie is the Deadpool logo with the Wolverine scratch going through it. So, I guess...
for 3/4
not what you think. I guess my question is, what would you guys rather have? A buddy movie with them on a road trip being very humorous, or would you rather have a film where they are enemies? Or both?
I mean, Deadpool's always funny.
Nah, low-key want both.
Both. I think if it starts off as them fighting and then it becomes a buddy cop, or vice versa, they are buddies and then they fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
headcanon, in Deadpool 2, he was like time jumping, right?
Yeah.
And then it like fails and he goes into like this like multiverse where he's like mortal enemies with Wolverine.
That could
and then somehow like they fight or whatever, and then they somehow is like
get dragged into the MCU.
Get dragged into the MCU because somehow Deadpool convinces Wolverine to like do this weird road trip across the multiverse.
Deadpool and Wolverine, the Multiverse of Madness.
Damn, man, that would have sold more than Multiverse of Madness did originally.
I think there's a lot of potential, and the fact that it's officially MCU will be cool. It'll be interesting to see the direction
kill
that
him
he will
off,
go.
or do you think he survives and then just recast him? They
No,
gotta kill him
he's
off.
not gonna
right?
kill. They're not gonna kill him off because they confirmed that they're not gonna mess with Logan.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's true. They did say that.
Well, because a lot of people already think that Logan is an alternate universe. They don't think it's actually set in the same, like, exact continuity as the rest of the X-Men movies. I think it's its own one-off movie. I don't know. Like, that was never officially just, like, stated, but I don't know. We're at half battery, okay. I think we're not going to be on this podcast for too much longer. So what were your thoughts on Deadpool 3? I mean, you might not even seen the advertisement, but it's all good. Like, what are your thoughts?
I only saw the release date, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you think the concept's cool as far as...
Oh, yeah.
You seen any of the Wolverine movies? Or X-Men movies?
Or
Like the old
Deadpool?
ones? Like early ones?
Yes.
Have you seen the Deadpool films?
Not all of them.
No, okay. So you probably just watched the first one then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic, though.
I think the second... It's tough for me which one I like more. The second one looks better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the second one, I would say... Because I think the second one was done by the director of John Wick. I'm not entirely sure. Or it was something... He worked on the John Wick movies. And it looks nicer than the first Deadpool. I think
Deadpool 1's always gonna be a classic, though.
they're both very good. I enjoy both of them very much. So it's interesting, 6 years after the last Deadpool, we're getting the third one. Like, that's a pretty big gap. So
2020?
2018 to 2018 was the last one.
2018? Damn.
So
a long time ago.
it'd be cool to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, next thing, Maya. I don't think has anything on this one because I don't think she's watched it. But
Did we not just watch it?
did you see the trailer?
I watched like half of it.
Okay.
I
No,
say you're
she's right.
snoozing.
So the next thing is the Indiana Jones 5 trailer was leaked. So it was shown at D23 a few weeks ago, only for D23. Nobody, it wasn't released online. But of course,
scumbags at Disney.
as always, people report it. It gets
Can
leaked
love you,
online.
Disney.
So it took a couple of weeks for it to get leaked. It wasn't right away. And it was kind of a shitty angle, so I went in and I edited it so it was like head on. And I mean, you can hear the trailer, you can see the trailer. It's not very good quality. I don't get how we live in an age where everybody has like phones with 4K cameras, and yet whenever there's a leak, it's always garbage quality. It's never
bro with the Nokia in the back row and the back left side.
Because like when I'm at the theater and I record like the MCU intros back when I used to make videos with all the MCU intros in them, it looks good. Like, it's nice quality. So it's like, how are these guys always like just recording on the absolute most garbage devices?
I swear to God, it's the guy with the Nokia in the back left corner.
Really? Yeah.
It's always
really.
him. He's the only one that gets his video on YouTube.
Because they look damn bad. So, trailer was released, and I mean, the way Andrew was feeling towards the Black Panther trailer is how I was feeling towards the Indiana Jones 5 trailer.
Okay.
There was like 3 times I was watching it, and just when you hear like when he grabs the hat and you hear like the dun 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 dun, I wasn't crying, but like I was definitely like
Ready to shed a tear.
yeah, because like Indiana Jones, like I love that franchise so much. It is like
Has that your favorite, one of your top 3?
one of my favorite franchises of all time. I just love those movies so much, and like just one last ride, one last adventure. It's been by the time it comes out, it'll have been 15 years since the last one. So it's great. And the movie, honestly, even though it's shit quality, looks awesome in my opinion. Like all the set pieces they showed us.
When's that movie come out?
June 2023. So apparently the first official trailer people are thinking might be attached to Black Panther, which I think would be great. I hope that happens. But no, I can't wait. Like I have worries for the movie because at this point I'd say it's like 85 to 90% certain that the film is going to involve time travel as the like gimmick because of a lot of set leaks and stuff that have happened, and to me it just depends on how they handle it. I don't want them to like go back in time and like go to the previous movies or anything like that, like Avengers. I want this. If they're gonna go back in time, just have it be for like this current event. What I'm thinking the plot might be. I have some speculation here. I'm sorry if this takes a minute.
It's okay.
From the trailer and from set leaks, the movie does have a de-aged Harrison Ford, like young Indiana Jones, set around the same time as Last Crusade, so towards the end of World War II, like 1945. Some of the set photos were like a Nazi castle, a Nazi train, and there was this villain in a Nazi outfit. What I'm thinking might happen is maybe the end of World War II, Indiana Jones, because he's disguised as a Nazi. I'm thinking this Nazi villain died, is killed off or whatever, and that kind of ends that. So what I'm thinking happens is maybe these villains in the 70s, like the more modern times, they find this device that allows them to go back in time, and maybe the film's plot is basically trying to like have this villain like kind of bring him back, right? Or something like that, like go back and like save him from being killed, and kind of like it's like if they were to essentially go back and like save Hitler. Like, is kind of what I'm thinking.
I'd be surprised if they try to do that.
So, that's what I think the premise is. It's not obviously Hitler, it's this other villain, but that's what I think they're going for, and I kind of like that. I think it's kind of a cool premise.
It'd be interesting to see how they implement this time travel.
It all depends on how they...
70s. If it looks 70s, doesn't it?
It's set in 1969, because it's when the moon landing happened. Now, when I say time travel device, it's not like a portal they walk through. It is a MacGuffin. It's like an object that they find in ancient Greece. Because the movie's going to Greece at some point for sure. There was a set photo that leaked of Indiana Jones and the girl he's with in the movie. They had parachutes and they're lying on the ground and there's a bunch of like Spartan soldiers. So my guess is they find this device and it probably puts them back to like ancient Greece times. And it really just depends on how it's handled. I think right now when I think of like the time travel, I'm like, but it could work. I mean, Raiders had like spirits floating around, guys' faces melting. Temple had guys getting their hearts ripped out. It could work. Depends on the execution. Is really what it comes down to for me.
Who's doing this one? Same guy that did the other ones, or are they all
Spielberg
different?
dropped the movie. Actually, he left it. It's being directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan.
Wow.
He directed Logan. He directed Ford versus Ferrari.
That's a good movie.
And I trust him as a director. I very much so trust him. I think he's a good pick. I have my issues or my worries for the movie, like the time travel, and then just I don't want to sound like any like the stupid like Geeks and Gamer type YouTuber channels, but I'm really hoping this doesn't go in a direction where it's like, okay, the new character in the movie is like the younger female, and then it's gonna be they set her up as like the next Indiana Jones. And
finish the franchise.
I don't want them to do that. Focus on Indiana Jones. Like I don't agree with people when they like always complain about Rey in the Star Wars movies. Like I was never like that, but my point is, it's just like I don't want them to basically be like, oh yeah, Indiana Jones is dead. This girl's taking over the mantle, and now we're gonna get some stuff with her.
Here's Shia LaBeouf back.
That's not happening.
Here he is.
But no, the teaser, we get to see Sala, who is obviously in Indiana Jones 1 and in Last Crusade. So seeing him come back is great. So I'm very excited for the movie. I think it looks really good from the trailer. I mean, the set pieces look great. We got like that little chase sequence with those little like cart things.
Yeah, those are cool.
I thought unfortunately, whoever recorded it was the worst recorded part. But
bro's gonna upgrade his Nokia, man.
I thought it was funny at the end when like Indy takes out his whip and he's like, "Stay back," and then all the guys.
The times have changed.
All the guys take out their guns.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's gonna be a fun movie. I think they just need to be smart about how they handle it. I think from what we've seen though, I think it looks really cool. It looks like they're borrowing from the Fate of Atlantis video game because there's some underwater stuff that we see.
Yeah.
There's a train sequence.
Maybe he'll visit Atlantis before it was.
Atlantis. I don't know.
Because the story with Atlantis, it was above water and then went underwater, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll go back in time far enough to that period.
Well, and the movie's, allegedly, this isn't confirmed, the acronym for the movie title, because there's still no title, the acronym apparently got leaked, which is POTCB. So P allegedly is supposed to be power, and then of the, and then CB.
Covenant.
CB is a very like who knows, but if the movie's dealing with time travel and it's set in Greece, a lot of people are thinking Chronos, because Chronos was the ancient Greece word for the personification of time, and then
Chronos. Was he with a K or was he with a C though?
Chronos is actually spelled both ways.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So Indiana Jones and the power of the Chronos box, Chronos bell. Because a lot of the set leaks have a box in them, so people are thinking Indiana Jones and the power of the Chronos box.
Clean ass title.
So, could be something like that.
Pretty nice for sure.
Right now, like I said, this is all speculation, but I thought the trailer was damn good. The set pieces look sick. It looks like it's hitting home the nostalgia. It looks... To me, it exceeded my expectations. I saw the trailer and I was like, damn, that looks really good.
Yeah.
You kind of dived into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I mean, I think if they go with kind of like preserving the how would you say it? Like the history timeline, I think that would be good because Indiana Jones is all about like preserving these historical artifacts, right?
It's probably why he goes back in time if this group of like
Nazis.
like future Nazis try to go get this new the old Nazi leader back. It's probably why he goes back in time. No, keep him there. He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh well, I was thinking more of like,
and if they were
the idea of like these people in 1969 or whatever, they go back to kill an important figure in history, like say for example Hitler or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he has to stop them from doing that in order for it. It's kind of like Back to the Future.
Yeah, so
I see what you're saying.
continues, yeah.
But I'm thinking, well, I don't think they'd be going back to kill Hitler. Because the people who are going back in time are Nazis.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, no, the bad guys are Nazis. Like, so they would be going back to, like I said, I don't think Hitler's the character we're dealing with. I think that there's a guy in the 40s who is a Nazi that is an enemy of Indiana Jones. My guess is him and Indy fight. Guy probably dies during the fight. And maybe this guy was like gonna be the next Hitler. Like he was kind of like this big character. And then my guess is in the future, or like in the 60s, there's Nazis that still survived as there was in real life, and they're going back to basically either bring this guy back to the modern time or to prevent his death. And so now Indy has to go back in time and kind of like. So the main villain's like a guy who Indy's already faced off against and already defeated, and I think that's a cool idea.
Maybe it's one of the guys from Raiders.
I don't think it will be. I think no, because Raiders is set in 38. Raiders is set like well before this opening scene is. I mean, it could be. That could be, but I don't think they're gonna interfere with the previous movies. I think they would be very stupid to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you and Nathan both said.
But I'm hyped as fuck. It's my most anticipated movie of next year, and then my second most anticipated is Oppenheimer.
That looks good.
What are your thoughts, Maya?
Well, have you seen
any of the Indiana Jones movies?
I grew up with them. Thank you.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, you didn't tell us.
What's your favorite
My
one?
mom told you.
What's your favorite one, do you think? Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
She's lying, folks. No.
I'm really not.
She's a fraud.
No, I didn't know that you watched them. That's sick, though. But yeah, thoughts on the trailer? I mean, you kind of mimic what we said, but...
Yeah, I like the franchise a lot. I think if they make it a traditional Indiana Jones movie and then say this is the last one we're doing, we're not doing no more sequels with another character, I think it's a good way to go out with a bang.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, looks good. I guess we'll just have to wait and see further developments.
All right. So, we're going to discuss two movies, Barbarian and Pearl, which Maya and I saw...
No traditional review on these, so we just thought we'd put it on the podcast.
Yeah. Because, like I said, with this podcast, we're going to be discussing movies on here more often than I will by myself. So, Pearl, Maya and I saw together, and then the three of us saw Barbarian a couple weeks back.
You'll be in there next time, Aiden.
I'm not a big horror fan.
So we'll start with Barbarian, since the three of us saw it. I'll just say, we'll give our quick thoughts, and then we'll dive into spoilers, because Barbarian is much so a movie that's more interesting to discuss with spoilers. So, very brief plot. You have this girl who is going for a job interview in Detroit. She stays at an Airbnb. When she gets there, there's somebody else already staying there as well. But it's already really late. It's really bad weather out. Kind of reluctantly, she decides, okay, I guess I'll stay the night and we can figure out what's going on tomorrow. So she stays the night, and then some really weird things start happening. And the movie follows a couple of different characters, and shit just gets crazy. So,
Shit hits the fan!
what did you think of the movie, Maya?
Oh, can I start telling spoilers?
Just, okay, did you
No.
like it or did you not?
Oh!
Give it a rating out of 10, and did you like it or not?
When we first watched it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it,
Mhm.
but thinking back on it, I actually did enjoy it. So
Alright.
I rated it a solid, 7.5.
Alright, 7.5, that's good. Andrew?
I can put it a 7.5 or 8. I'd
Nice.
say so, yeah.
As for
It's a good
myself,
slot. You really enjoyed that movie.
this is what I said to them. Up until the last, I'd say
25 minutes.
Honestly, even going back a little bit further, I think
you said like
going
where.
Well, no, I know, but I think actually further back than that. Okay. I think going back once, because there's this thing that happens, I'd say like maybe midway through the movie, there's this scene where this thing comes out and it's kind of like, oh, that's what's going on here. And then we follow this other character. I liked following the other character. Once the other character is introduced to what that thing was, from there on out is where the movie kind of dropped for me a little bit. There were still some moments I liked, but I would say more so the last, like, third of the movie was the part where it sort of dipped for me a bit. Up until then, it was close to a 10 and could have been my favorite movie of the year. I just didn't like the last third as much. So for me, I would go with an 8 on the movie. Really liked it, but in particular, the last 15 minutes I don't like. So that's just brief thoughts. But I will say, without spoilers, it's very well made, super well shot, very well acted, well written. It actually has some good humor in it. Like, there's some funny moments. And
what's the actor's name?
Jason Long, or something like that. Justin Long.
Justin Long, yeah.
His character was hilarious. Best character in the movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so overall, really liked it, and I would recommend it. So now we're going to dive into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, click at the time you see on the screen right now. So Maya, what was the movie really about?
Well, okay. I'm honestly going to say something, and it may be controversial. Depends on who actually cares. But I'm so glad that they didn't keep it like the basic plots where they make like the main person that you see the killer. Like, you know how like they usually make.
Oh,
like,
you're talking
like, you
about
know, like the guy that she stayed with.
Yeah, the Pennywise guy.
They tried to make it like that it was gonna be him, but it really wasn't. We all knew that.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It was nice to see, but.
It's nice not meeting your killer 5 minutes into the movie.
Exactly.
That's the thing I liked with the movie so much, was that it tries to like subvert your expectations multiple times. Like, you think at first like, okay, he's really creepy, and my thought was like, okay, I think that there's something. Maybe there's, like, something going on in this house and he is responsible for it. Like, he's doing some weird stuff and he has some awkward plans. And then, but then when she leaves to go to the job interview, all the houses are destroyed. Yeah. So I was like, oh, is this, like, some weird, like, mental thing where she's in, like, this house is, like, a gateway to, like, hell?
That is what I thought for a bit.
I thought it was, like, gonna go in some weird kind of
simulation.
Direction. Like, like, I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe this is, like, purgatory. Like, I just had all these different ideas. And then that's not the case. Then she goes into the basement, and she finds a cord. She pulls it. It opens a door. She goes down this hallway, and she finds a room with a camera on a tripod, a bed that has stains on it, and a bucket. And you're like, okay, so there's some really creepy
torture going on in there.
some creepy stuff going on here. And then the other guy from the Airbnb, he comes in and he goes to investigate, and then she can't find him, and then she finds there's another door with more stairs that lead even deeper down. And I was like, hey, maybe this is some weird demonic shit. So she goes down to find him, and then...
this probably was the best part of the movie.
Well, she also thought that it was him screwing with her.
She thought it was him screwing with her, and that's what I thought. I was like, he's fucking with her because he's trying to get her to come into this dark, creepy place.
So then he could kidnap her and just keep her hostage, yeah.
But then she gets to him, and he's like talking to her, and then out of nowhere, this fucking creepy naked lady who looks
she's like what, like 6'7".
She looks like Gollum. She just comes up, grabs him, and starts bashing his head against the wall. He dies, and then movie just cuts and switches to a completely different character unrelated to this. And now we're following this guy who is a TV actor. His TV show is running into issues because he's being accused of sexually assaulting a co-star, and now we're following him. It turns out he owns that house, and so he's going to it to basically just...
Well, they freeze all of his funds in his bank account, or saying you don't have enough money to do anything. And he's like, well, I have a bunch of houses in Detroit. Would that do me anything? And he's like, probably not right now. And he's like, okay. So he just heads up to go to Detroit because his parents live there or something. Then he goes and lives in the house he buys.
So he goes to the house, and then this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. He gets to the house. He goes down because he sees that there's people's bags and stuff here. It's like, is there somebody staying in my house right now? And he goes to investigate the basement, and then he finds that room, which he didn't know existed. And rather than like be concerned, he takes a measuring tape and just starts measuring the basement and like this room where he literally like sits on the bed and there's stains on it. And he's like, ew. And he just isn't processing what's going on. and he's measuring all this stuff. When he finds out there's the corridor that goes down into like the deep dark depths. He's excited. He's like, more room for me to measure, more square footage for me to get money on with this house. And
that had to have been like the funniest part.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, it was so smart because it was like, you're just showing like the difference in these characters, how he doesn't give a shit because he's just like greedy and everything.
And then the girl was losing her shit and the other guy was trying to be calm.
Yeah, and then that's when we get introduced to, we see more of the naked Gollum lady. And that's where the movie, because she was very obsessed with like babies and stuff, so she tries like breastfeeding like the characters, and it's kind of gross, and that's where the movie kind of lost me because
the way this 6'7" Golem lady came about is a whole interesting ass story.
It was because of the backstory.
It's gross.
That's the one thing I did like about the movie is the like it wasn't just one straight line. It was like the jumps between different times.
Yeah, well, I liked
Solid.
when it, because I just thought like when she, I think what it was is I think it was meant to be creepy because it's so gross. But it also kind of, it's a tricky line because it also borders to the point where some people might think it kind of borders on comedic.
Yeah.
With how goofy it is when she's like holding them up to her boobs and she's like, baby, baby. Like, that shit, it gets a little, it can be considered quite goofy. So it's kind of like you need to kind of find a fair way to like, I think if she just had them kidnapped and wanted to eat them, that would have been better, right? Like, I think the whole breastfeeding thing just got a little bit kind of goofy feeling. It's gross, but again, it just kind of borders being comedic and goofy. And then the movie does another time change, and now we're going back to the 80s following this guy. The aspect ratio changes, which I really like. There's a lot of one-shot takes and a very stretched out POV, or stretched out FOV.
The camera angle from behind him driving the car.
Really cool. So we're following this random guy who's definitely a little rough looking, and it turns out he is like a rapist, and it turns out that that creature, that gross lady, is basically just the product of him having a kid with a lady, and then having a kid with that kid, and then having a kid with their kid. So basically just generations of like...
gross.
It was full on generations of
Yeah, generations of like inbred, and that's what this resulted in. So that's what this gross creature is.
Yeah, a lot of pictures in your head now.
And you don't ever see... That's the thing. That's what I liked about this movie is some movies, I feel like nowadays... They try to have these disturbing concepts, and they actually do have rape scenes, and it can be kind of hard to sit through. I like that this movie never showed you it. It implied it, but you never saw it, and I give it props for that, because not everybody wants to see...
14A, right? Kept it 14A?
Well, in Canada, but in the States it's 18A.
But was it?
Yeah, but, I give them props for that, because, a lot of... Or it's R in the States, 18A doesn't exist in the States. I give them props for that, though, that they didn't show it, but you know what's going on, and it's still equally as disturbing. It was just the last 15 minutes when the creature was kind of going around and, like, killing the homeless guy and then, like, jumps off the roof. That's when it just got a little goofy for me, and I hated the abrupt ending. I hate abrupt endings, and it was way too abrupt. But,
Man, I was fearing for my life when she, like, dolphin dived off the top of that water tower.
That's where the movie should have...
flying out.
The movie should have been in 3D. Her boobs are just like...
That would have been terrible.
Oh my god. Imagine if you saw it in, like, 4DX, and when she's breastfeeding, they, like, squirt water on you from the...
Oh, dude, no. No, never.
I like how the audio is just, like, peaking.
Yeah.
Because it's just Andrew freaking out.
Yeah. No, so, like...
It's okay.
It definitely, to me, it kind of lost itself a little bit in the last bit, but I still overall liked it, so...
Yeah, it was a good movie.
And you, Maya?
Yeah.
Was there kind of a point where it kind of dipped for you a bit, or...
I'm gonna have to agree with, like, when she starts chasing them. I'm also a bit mad that she killed the homeless guy. Like, all he was trying to do was actually help people.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. That's true. He didn't do anything.
Low-key didn't deserve it, but it's okay.
And I also just felt like the way it was...
Death.
The movie had very good creative camera angles, but I thought the camera angle during his death was kind of comedic, where it's like the pulled back frame and it's just... She rips his arm off and then she's beating him with his arm. It just looked a little goofy to me.
Yeah,
I was like, nah.
Man, we ain't playing no video game.
But at the end of the movie, just as long, he's on the top of the water tower and he pushes the other girl off, knowing that
his character's side.
Well, because his character, he did. You kind of find out, he really did sexually assault that cast member, but he regrets it. He knows what he did was wrong. He feels a bit of regret.
He literally drunk called her apologizing like 50 times.
Yeah, and also, like, there's that scene where he's kind of talking and he's kind of telling the people, like, he doesn't say what he did, but he's like, I know I did something wrong or whatever, and I think the whole point of the title of Barbarian, it's not the monster or whatever. The Barbarian is him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the Barbarian. Him and the guy from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what the movie's like underlying theme is or whatever.
Overall, though, good movie.
Oh yeah, overall really liked it.
Solid 7s across the board, pretty much.
8 for me.
I said 7.5, 8.
So
You said
7.5 is the average.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah. And then we move on to Pearl.
We'll keep this one short because
It was just us.
Yeah.
So Pearl's a prequel to X, which is a horror film that was released earlier this year, which was set in the 70s. It's about a group of people going to make a adult film in Texas, I guess. They go to like this...
Why is everything like that done in Texas?
Because
it's the
like,
worst place.
It's most legal there.
Everything's legal.
So they go to like this...
Go home.
They go to like a barn or like a farm because there's this old couple who kind of like rents out their there's like a property that they have on the area. So that's where but they don't know they're making an adult film. They just think these people are renting it. Anyways, so it's a slasher film. The old people are actually weird as fuck and they kill the people. That is essentially X. So this movie is a prequel set in 1918. So you're going back like 6 decades essentially and following the old woman who was the killer in X. You're following her as a probably like 22-year-old girl or so, I'd say, like young 20s, following her in her life. And it was much more, it's not a slasher film, it's more of like a psychological thriller. It's slower paced. Well, not really. I actually think X was slower, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was.
X took its time. It was like an hour in, people start getting killed. This movie was... It was more character focused. It was more about... Because X didn't really have a main character. It was kind of just all the people. This movie, the main character is this girl. And you're seeing, small town girl, hates living on a farm. Her parents are very... Well, her dad's... He can't move or talk. He's in a wheelchair. Mom's very strict German lady. And you can tell she doesn't want this life. She dreams of being an actress. She dreams of being a star. And so... it's basically, you're seeing her life and, how she'll be watching a play and then all of a sudden you'll watch it's like all of a sudden she's one of the characters, so she's imagining all the things, she's dreaming it. Meanwhile, a goose comes into the barn and she grabs a pitchfork and stabs it, so she's twisted, she's a little messed up. She
definitely got some issues.
Oh,
she meets this guy at the theater who gives her a film reel or like a snippet of it, and she takes it home, she loses it. She goes to a scarecrow. She takes the scarecrow down and is pissed at it, and then all of a sudden the face on the scarecrow is the guy from the theater who she's attracted to, and then she starts dry fucking the scarecrow, and so a lot of she's just a weird person.
Should we talk about the fact that she also had a husband in the war?
Yeah, she has a husband in the war as well.
Yeah.
This girl's 22.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was very common to get married super young.
That's true. Actually.
Because this is World War I we're talking about. So, no, but still. Yeah, so,
Close enough.
No, it was World War I, but, it was pretty cool. I really liked, following her character. The movie had a $1 million budget, so really, pretty cheap, whereas X had $10 million. Barbarian was probably, 40 or so.
Jeez.
But the movie looked great, in my opinion.
I actually agree.
It had a very old Hollywood feel to it, where when they're outside, it always felt like a movie set.
Yeah.
It always felt like they built it in a studio, and I really liked that about it. It kind of has this old charming feel to it. The colors are very nice. It has a very pastel-y color palette. I just really liked the movie, and things get really disturbing in the second half. Mm-hmm. I won't. You'd care if we say stuff.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Okay.
If I do, I'll watch it in a bit.
The last act, so her mother and her are arguing, and the mother gets pushed, and her dress catches on fire from the fireplace. So she catches on fire. The daughter puts out the fire by throwing boiling water on her.
Before that, though, her trying to throw her dad to the alligator because she was trying to become a star.
So she's trying to become a star, and she knows that she would feel too much guilt if she left her dad behind. So she tried, basically, she was going to push him off the dock, and an alligator was going to eat him. But then the mom was like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, so the mom gets boiling hot water put on her to put out the fire, and then she just gets thrown down the stairs. And then the next day, she takes a pillowcase and suffocates the dad with it and kills him. And then this guy who...
Good daughter. Really good daughter there.
The guy who was at the theater, she meets up with him. They have sex after watching 1918 porn. And then they... Literally.
Yeah.
Then they go back to the house and... this is actually before the father died. The father's actually still alive at this point.
Because the guy meets the father.
Yeah, and there's just... The godfather can't talk, so he can't say, like, she just killed my wife.
Yeah, like, get the fuck out.
So, there's weird things going on. The guy talked about, like, oh, I'm going to take you to Europe and whatever, and she's starting to kind of doubt it. She's like, are you really going to... That was a terrible accent.
American Dawson.
She's like, are you really going to take me to Europe? And she starts to get pissed at him, and then, while he's in his car starting up, she stabs him in the chest with a pitchfork a couple times. He drives... The car drives away. He gets out of the car. He's, like, lying on the ground. She pitchforks him. Well, he puts the car into drive, and then it just goes down the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's bleeding.
He's pretty much
dead.
I was gonna say, how is he focusing right now?
Yeah.
Then he's lying on the ground, and then she stabs the pitchfork through his open mouth. Mm-hmm. So he gets killed. Then she goes back to her house, suffocates the father. Then she goes to audition for a play, or for a dancing thing.
Yeah.
And her sister-in-law wins the competition over her to go into this thing.
Did they actually confirm that she, actually
She did,
won it?
because when she was talking to her, when they were talking in the, after the scene where she said all this shit, she's like, I know you got it, by the way.
Well,
and
she kept trying to say, she'd be like, yeah, I did.
I think she did. I think she didn't want to tell her, and then I think eventually she did kind of confess it. Mm-hmm. But Mia Goth has, this, I think, I've Googled online, I'm pretty sure it's a 9-minute monologue, where that scene where she's sitting at the dinner table and she's just talking about, but it was super well acted, great acting, and she's confessing to all things essentially confessing that she's cheated on her husband, and this is her husband's sister, so it's a very awkward scene. And then this girl tries leaving, and then she just runs after her with an axe, hits her in the back a couple times, and then the final scene,
the girl's got issues, man. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she chops all the limbs off and stuff. The final scene, which is pretty disturbing. So the sister-in-law was with her mother, visited a week prior, and because they are more of a rich family compared to this family that the girl's in, and they tried giving them a roast pig dinner or whatever, and the mom was like, we don't need your help, so they keep it on the deck, and then you just see over the course of the week more and more maggots getting on it, and it's just getting gross and eaten. So the last scene in the movie, which was really good, I really liked it, was the girl, she takes her mom and her dad, who are both dead, kind of puts makeup on them to make them look a bit nicer, and they sit there and they have a fake family feast, and they eat the pig, which is covered in maggots. And it was a disturbing final scene.
Well,
and
then
the
husband comes back.
Yeah. And then the husband from the war shows up, and he's just shocked.
That's literally what he walks into.
Yeah, he walks into seeing that, and then she looks at him and she just smiles, and the credits are just 3 minutes of scrolling with just her smiling the entire time. It's pretty disturbing. I thought the movie was great.
Oh, I thought the movie was great too. I did get a little lost at some points because, I did leave at one point, but that was my bad.
Yeah.
I had valid reasons.
You lost your...
I lost my bag.
You forgot your bag.
Anyways, honestly, the plot was sick.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's actually a movie where, talking about it now, I actually like it more talking about it.
Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, holy shit, it was actually great.
You have time to, digest it and process it, so it made it, seem so much cooler than it was.
I'm wondering if I like it more than Barbarian.
I did, personally.
If that's the case, it's going from, 10th on my list to, 4th right now.
Well, considering, my favorite kill was either, the guy who's gonna take her to Europe, which he never was.
Yeah.
Or the, sister-in-law.
Yeah, the little sister-in-law.
Absolutely getting chopped up.
Well, because, there's, that montage sequence. And then she throws... doesn't she throw...
She throws the body parts into the alligator.
Yeah, you see the head getting eaten by an alligator. Yeah, the movie's not very violent for the first half, and, the father's death and the mom's death are off-screen. And then the last 10 minutes are just, de-limbing. I was like, okay.
Bro woke up and chose violence.
Oh, 100%.
No, so I would give that movie... an 8.5, I think.
I'd give it 8.5, 9.
Yeah, it was damn good. But yeah, guys, there you have it. That was the first podcast episode.
Yes, sir.
Coming in at an hour and a half.
Pretty good for the first podcast.
We said 45 minutes.
Man,
we exceeded expectations.
That's good though.
We exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good though. First episode done.
So next episode will probably be sometime next week. It's not going to be like a regular schedule where it's like every Friday or every Thursday we do an episode. It's just kind of whenever we can do one.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be the same group. Sometimes, it might just be Maya and I, it might just be Andrew and I, it might just be Aiden and I, it might be somebody else.
Surprise guest?
Surprise guest.
Oh,
Who's he going to be? But it'll just be a thing that is going to happen on this channel more often. So, like when Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out, Andrew and I both see it, probably separately. I don't know if we're going together.
See my friends want to go with me.
Yeah, and then, we'll do a podcast episode reviewing it.
Oh,
And Maya as well. So there you have it, guys.